Story number three. The story was happened with one person nearly 10 years ago. He lived in a city, but the city was very hot in the summer. He wanted to live in the country, and he wanted to walk in a forest and see green trees. He had a little red car and a map as well. He drove all night out into the country, and he very liked it. He was very comfortably in the car, and the weather into the country was very good. In the summer, in the morning, was hot, and he very glad it. But suddenly, his car was broke down. He thought what was wrong, but then he understood that the petrol had finished. He very upset because of that, because he understood that now he had to walk and get to the nearest town to buy some petrol. He looked at his map, and he saw that there was no the nearest town. The nearest town was situated in the several kilometers from him. He looked at his map and saw that the nearest town was situated pretty far. He was upset, and suddenly he saw a beautiful girl who walked down on the road with flowers. She had a long dress and long hair. She wore red dress, and she had a black hair. He decided to talk to her and ask for help. He said hello to her and said that he was lost. She was very afraid of him and didn't know what to answer. And so he kept on talking. He asked about petrol and asked where he could buy it. He smiled. She smiled and said that she didn't know where the nearest petrol shop was. She suggested him to go with her to her village and ask for help from her parents. He was pretty surprised because he didn't saw any villages at the map. But he thought perhaps that village was small, and so he didn't situate it in the map. When they got to the village, she smiled and invited him to the house. The house was black and white, and he look an old house. He saw a fire, and above the fire was food. He was surprised because of that, but he thought that the family perhaps no enough money. Then he met with girl's father and girl's mother. His clothes, them clothes, was strange, and it surprised him as well. They talk a little bit about different things. Then his father suggested to the person a drink. But the drink doesn't like to the man because it taste was very strange. Then the man asked about petrol. The father don't understand what was petrol means. The man very surprised and asked, did he walk anywhere? The father answered that that he used a horse. Man nothing answered him. The man ate dinner with the family, and at night he and girls went out to the garden. They much speak and laugh, but then the girls was strange. She said that the man must go now because it's dangerous for him to stay here anymore. He didn't understand what she was talking about, and said that he very loves her. She said him goodbye and came back to the home. He cried him that he got to next town, get some petrol, and come back to her. But she didn't hear his words. It was midnight. The night was dark, but he walked and walked. At least he saw a village. He saw a town. At least he got the town. He found the petrol, and he decided to ask something about the village from the man at the garage. But the man didn't understand what he was talking about, and gave him a strange look. The man decided to tell everything about he know at the village. He said the strange village, the strange houses, about the strange people in the houses. And then the man at the garage, at first he didn't say anything, but then decided to tell something. He said that there was a fire in the village, and everything was died. I asked, how did it happen? And he said that Oliver Cromwell did the people in the village, because he was angry with them, because the villagers helped the king on the war. But the war was about 350 years ago, and the man at the garage say a strange story. He said that every 10 years, but only for one day, the village came back, and the man, when the man was lost at the in the country, he find out the village, and it was the day when the village came back for one day. At first, I thought that the man at the garage was crazy, because he told me crazy stories. But then I said goodbye to him, and came back to their location when the village was. But it wasn't there. I didn't see village at there. I could only see flowers and trees. I was very surprised, and he didn't forget anywhere this story. From that period, almost later 10 years, and now he had to wait 2 months only, and in 2 months the village came back again, only for one day, and he wanted to see marry that girl who was in love. He was laughing, and now he is not going to leave her alone. He decided to stay with her, and if the village disappear again, he disappeared also with them, with the village and with the people.